I'm Kim Roberts, and I'm making a book. I had an experience when I was around 50 where my career ended, and I had to figure out my next steps. I'd been teaching yoga across Asia for a couple of decades, and when I came back to the United States, that life that I had carefully chosen and created with intention fell apart. And I had spent years teaching people how to set intentions, to figure out the next steps in their own lives, and teaching people how to sit with uncertainty. And it turns out I had no idea how. So, a friend who I met in Crestone was teaching art workshops, specifically encaustic art workshops. And I went. And at the end of the 2 hour class, he looked at me and said, I don't know who you are or what your story is, but if I were you, I would drop everything and make art and write. And I lost it because it rang so true. And so within I had my first solo show within a year. And at 58, I married a fellow artist. And now I'm a landscape painter, showing in galleries and exhibitions around the region. But this book isn't about my story exclusively or about a happy ending. But I'm hoping that for you, if you want to be part of this and read this book. But it's about that space in between when one life falls away and before one life begins. And there's that gap between lives. And it's an uncomfortable place. And so part of this book is my story, but part of this is a guide for that gap that nobody really prepares you for at midlife. And you may have already lived through one. You might be going through your second gap or um, whatever is coming next for you. But this book is a collection of short essays that share bits of my story, guidance and inspiration for your own story, and practices and prompts that will help you make sense of this phase. Because making a life requires creation. And the outline of this book goes through 9 stages of making a painting. And I walk through the parallel of how that path will show you the way to the next steps in your own remaking of a life. So it's not a 10-step plan, it's not a guaranteed destination. It's just my story with some suggestions and prompts and inspiration for your own journey. Think of it as a one pilgrim guiding another. And so if this makes sense and feels important or relevant or interesting to you, I invite you to back this campaign and help me publish this book. And I would love to have you along the ride with me. So thank you so much, and I appreciate your time and interest.